Hey everybody, I wanted to make a basic tutorial on Photoshop Actions. I find them very useful. They save me a little time here and there, and when you're working on long form content like comics, it can make a big difference in your overall production time. So, what are actions? So basically, if you don't have them already open, to pull up your actions palette, go up to your Photoshop file, edit image, all the way over to window and down to actions, and that will pull up this panel right here. Now if you've just pulled it up for the first time, it'll probably look something like this. This is the default look, how it comes up. So yeah, these are my actions, and the ones that you've downloaded from me are all the ones under Zero Pro. So anyways, I personally like to keep it in button mode. Looks really nice and clean. You can customize the colors and such. But yeah, what do? Actions allow you to record a set of commands or inputs in a specific order, and then with a click of a button, it will play back those inputs. You can also string together a set of commands to make fast one-click actions that combine an entire process into a single button. So each one of these you see here is a different action. A lot of these ones that I've provided are very basic functions that don't take more than maybe 2 clicks to do manually, and I'll show you what each one does and how to do them manually. But like I said, it's the little things that count, and just being able to click one button and have it happen saves a lot of time in the long run. But let me demonstrate how to make an action real quick. So first of all, let's open desktop. Here are my Inktober rats. So I have 31 of these, right? Let's say I wanted to save them out at a different size. So, go up to button mode off, and I'm going to hit this little icon here, the create new, and I'm gonna call this Inktober, because this is specific to this project. I'll probably delete it after I use it. It's going to be a very specific action that isn't like useful for any other situation. And let's just for fun, let's make it green. So I'm going to hit record. As soon as I hit record, this little record button turns red. Now at this point, anything that I do will become, well, not everything. Almost everything I do will become part of the action. So I have to be very careful about what I'm clicking on from now on. Okay, so I'm recording right now. First off, I'm going to right click on the layer, and I'm going to go down to flatten image. I can also go up to this layer, down to flatten image. Does the same thing. But that will create my background layer. So that's going to be my first step. Second, I want to go image size, and let's make this let's make it 5 by 5, and then I'm going to resample it down to 72. And I actually, yeah, let's do that. It's a little small. I would never actually save it out at that size, but just for the purposes today. So I'm going to hit OK. Right? So maybe I'm making thumbnails. Let's say I'm making thumbnails. So I want it really small. Next, I'm going to go up to File, Save. I'm going to save that. And then I'm not sure how to do it on like the screen itself, but I am going to use the command W to close that window. And now I'm going to hit stop. So let's look at what we just did. We just created a new action called Inktober. First, it flattens the layers. It resizes to that specific size. And then it saves and closes. So now, what I can do, which is cool, is I can open all of the other ones. Let's just do like that many, just for example. Okay? Go down to my Inktober button. Now watch. Now I can just click, click, click. And each one gets resized and saved and closed just on one click of the button. I didn't even have to save and close. That's all included in the action. So that way, you know, something that could have taken maybe 15 minutes for me to go through and do individually only took like a few seconds. So I just want to go over with you the actions that I've shared with you. Click on that little button there and go down to load actions. Go find the file, the zeroproactions.atn file that I've given you, and you just hit open and you'll get these ones right here. Flatten image all the way down to layers. Now some of these are very basic, pretty like self-explanatory. Flatten image, for example, click that, it just flattens your image. Voila! Crop, again, very straightforward. Now you do need something selected for this to work, so I usually like to use the marquee tool. Hit crop, crops down to where your marquee is. You could use the crop tool, but I find crop works better for when you have, like, if you want to select something, then you hit crop, crops it down to the selection. I don't think the crop tool can do that. Maybe it can, I just don't know about it. I'm gonna skip color for now, the color action. I've already made an entire video about it, so I'll still go over it at the end of the video, but for now we'll skip it. Fill. If you have a layer, you hit fill. It takes your foreground color and it fills it in. Nothing spectacular there. Now the expand and contract tool are very useful for digital coloring. I made this little dumpling here, and if you put some marching ants in there, you'll notice that if you were to color it, let me color it black on black so you can see. Actually, that did a pretty good job. But if you zoom in really close, I don't know if you can see it, but you got a slight white line that isn't colored in. Back pedal. What expand and contract do is it basically goes up to select, down to modify, expand, and it expands it by 1 or 2 pixels. So the beauty of that is if you click expand, watch what happens to the marching ants. Can you see it? They've now gone inside the line. Now if I go down and I color it, there is absolutely no gap between the line art and the colored area because it overlaps slightly. See, that's the overlap. So expand will make the marching ants get bigger. Contract just makes it get smaller. Pretty basic, but it saves a lot of time, trust me. So the flip will take whatever layer you have currently selected, and it flips just that layer. flip everything will take the entire image, the whole canvas, and flip everything. It's basically what it says on the tin. The flip everything one is really useful for artists who like to flip their drawing to see if they've gotten everything right. It's actually a really helpful technique. I just am not used to doing it, so I tend to forget to. And then the last one I have is layers. So I did some sketching for the comic, and now I'm ready to do line art. Basically, I am the worst at naming my layers, so having this automatically name my layers for me is awesome. So let me click it, and let's see what happened. So everything that's in this group came out of this. And you'll notice that the sketch layer is now down here. That's layer 7, right? So sketch layer was moved to the bottom, and it created for me 4 new layers, each named what I want them to be. The line art layer is the one that's auto selected. So I can just grab my black and start drawing what I want. Now, after I've done the line art, and I turn that off, what I'm left with is line art with color right below it. And that's what I need in order to use the color action. So in order for the color action to work, what I need is line art. Below the line art, I need an empty layer for the color. And I need the line art layer selected. And with the magic wand, I'm going to select what I want colored. Oh, one more step. I need a color. So that's 3 steps for this action to work. A layer with line art, a layer under it with color. I mean for the color, not with color. A foreground color selected, and what I want colored also selected. Now, when I hit color, so let me do it again, but I'll do it in individual steps. So, when I select the part that I want colored, and I go down and I select my color, right? So as soon as I click the color action, what it does is it moves the selected layer down 1. It expands the selection, I'm gonna say like twice maybe. It fills the selection with the foreground color. It goes back up to the line art layer, and then it deselects. And now it's ready for me to select some more. But it does all of that pretty much instantaneously. Now, of course, it's not a perfect system, because sometimes there are areas that are too small for me to select. Sometimes there are little corners that get missed, but it saves me so much time to do that first. I don't even need a tablet to do that part. And then if I go in, I can then just sample the color around and finish coloring the parts that got missed. I suppose that's about it. I hope this has been helpful to you. And until next time, keep your nose clean. Bye-bye!